So hello there guys, this is my classic summoner build I'm trying to showcase here. It's a good league starter, very cheap and quite tanky. You can do most of the content in the game with it and feel very comfortable going forward. And yeah, I just uploaded also gameplay of it with Uberlab, so I made Uberlab on myself with this, which I usually don't do because you want to have good life regeneration, good movement speed, high life, and some form of mitigation. Although there's not a lot of mitigation in here, it's mostly that you don't get hit because you have your stuff in front of you. This is a double beyond tier 10 map with temporal chains on it to show some general mapping. This is a relatively good map for this build because it's quite open. You really don't want to do close quarters cave or building like maps because your spectres lag behind and the cooldown on convocation is quite high. After you go through a door, an opening like this, you're very vulnerable because your spectres are behind you and don't do any damage, and you personally cannot deal with even the weakest of mobs. But as soon as your spectres start doing their thing, throwing their fireballs, then it becomes much easier. So even with very cheap gear, you get up to around 6,000, 7,000 life and around 700 life regeneration per second. The life regeneration comes from having vitality and just generally some passive nodes that give regeneration and life, as well as I'm using a marble amulet, a cheap one definitely. There's room for improvement there, but it gives the regeneration, which is the most important, and some life. Okay, so let's see the map boss. I'm using elemental weakness and flame ability on my ball lightning, cast on curse on hit, and also elemental equilibrium, which is nothing new. I think classic summoners all do this. The interesting bit here is mostly that it's life based, using very cheap uniques and generally not very expensive items. So as you can see, a tier 10 map, definitely not a problem. I actually did core with this, core Malachi, also wasn't a problem. My animate guardian and my spectres really don't have a problem staying alive. Actually, these spectres are the standard spectres you can get from the Eternal Lab. So you will get a lot more damage if you get level 70, level 75 spectre from maps. Even without getting any better gear, your damage will, I don't know, shoot up by like 15% at least. Okay, so you saw, even with double beyond, my zombies usually die because currently they are unlinked, not even minion life, no fortify, but you don't really need them. But the spectres and the animate guardian, which costs a little bit of money, didn't have any problem surviving there. So how I get this high life, all of my gear is life based. And I'm using some unique items: Lionized Remorse, Aron Vorax for the resists, and Bones of Old for the +1 Spectra. And also on my passive tree, I go down even to the Marauder area for some more life. Get all the life at Witch area, get all the life on Templar area, and also all my jewels are life based. I think I only have one jewel that has also minion damage. All the other ones are just simply life and minion resistance, or resistances for me. Although I don't really need resistances, I'm way overcapped. And for getting from A to B, I'm using Whirling Blade setup. There's definitely room for improvement there also, but right now it feels okay. I could get a better better weapon with faster attack speed. But right now I'm showing how it would be, how it would look like probably when you're starting a league. Okay, and then the sixth link is in a Holy Chainmail, which you can get using the divination card Purity Emperor's Purity, something like that. It costs usually like 2-3 chaos a piece. You need 7 of them at the beginning of the league. After a few weeks it gets a lot cheaper. You can get by with a 5 link until then, or a tabula rasa is actually perfect, because you don't need anything else than the links and some life on it. Everything else is you can cap your resistances very easily, even without it, and there's nothing else on it to show right now. And yes, so as soon as your Sentinels start doing fireballs, your damage is really good. The biggest problem is setting up the positioning for them to be able to cast their fireballs. Convocation helps a lot in this, but the problem is Convocation has a quite high cooldown. Okay, that's 14 monsters, so one more thing. To increase the damage of your of the Sentinels, I use an Anger and Generosity. You definitely want Generosity, because if you don't use Generosity, you would get fire damage, which would mess up your elemental equilibrium. And I'm using Vitality for the regeneration, and also because as for every aura I have, I get some attack speed and cast speed and increased damage. So that's why I'm using low level Clarity Aura, Vitality Aura, and Generosity on Anger. Okay, thank you for watching, and goodbye.